him to look up when he passed under the stairway leading to the stacks. There was an echo here in Derry, a deadly echo, and all they could hope for was that the echo could be changed enough in their favor to allow them to escape with their lives. Christ, he muttered, and scrubbed a palm up one cheek, hard. Can I help you, sir? A voice at his elbow asked, and he jumped a little. It was a girl of perhaps 17, her dark blonde hair held back from her pretty high schooler's face with barrettes. A library assistant, of course, they'd had them in 1958 too. High school girls and boys who shelved books, showed kids how to use the card catalog, discussed book reports and school papers, helped bewildered scholars with their footnotes and bibliographies. The pay was a pittance, but there were always kids willing to do it. It was agreeable work. On the heels of this, reading the girl's pleasant but questioning look a little more closely, he remembered that he no longer really belonged here. He was a giant in the land of little people. An intruder. In the adults' library he had felt uneasy about the possibility of being looked at or spoken to, but here it was something of a relief. For one thing, it proved he was still an adult, and the fact that the girl was clearly braless under her thin Western-style shirt was also more relief than turn-on. If proof that this was 1985 and not 1958 was needed, the clearly limbed points of her nipples against the cotton of her shirt was it. No thank you, he said, and then, for no reason at all that he could understand, he heard himself add, I was looking for my son. Oh, what's his name? Maybe I've seen him. She smiled. I know most of the kids. His name is Ben Hanscom, he said. But I don't see him here. Tell me what he looks like and I'll give him a message, if there is one. Well, Ben said, uncomfortable now and beginning to wish he had never started this, he's on the stout side, and he looks a little bit like me. But it's no big deal, miss. If you see him, just tell him his dad popped by on his way home. I will, she said, and smiled, but the smile didn't reach her eyes, and Ben suddenly realized that she hadn't come over and spoken to him out of simple politeness and a wish to help. She happened to be a library assistant in the children's library in a town where 9 children had been slain over a span of 8 months. You see a strange man in this scaled-down world where adults rarely come except to drop their kids off or pick them up. You're suspicious. Of course. Thank you, he said, gave her a smile he hoped was reassuring, and then got the hell out. He walked back through the corridor to the adults' library and went to the desk on an impulse he didn't understand. But of course they were supposed to follow their impulses this afternoon, weren't they? Follow their impulses and see where they led. The nameplate on the circulation desk identified the pretty young librarian as Carol Danner. Behind her, Ben could see a door with a frosted glass panel. Lettered on this was Michael Hanlon, head librarian. May I help you? Ms. Danner asked. I think so, Ben said. That is, I hope so. I'd like to get a library card. Very good, she said, and took out a form. Are you a resident of Derry? Not presently. Home address, then. Rural Star Route 2, Hemingford Home, Nebraska. He paused for a moment, a little amused by her stare, and then reeled off the zip code, 59,341. Is this a joke, Mr. Hanscom? Not at all. Are you moving to Derry, then? I have no plans to, no. This is a long way to come to borrow books, isn't it? Don't they have libraries in Nebraska? It's kind of a sentimental thing, Ben said. He would have thought telling a stranger this would be embarrassing, but he found it wasn't. I grew up in Derry, you see. This is the first time I've been back since I was a kid. I've been walking around, seeing what's changed and what hasn't. And all at once it occurred to me that I spent about 10 years of my life here between ages 3 and 13, and I don't have a single thing to remember those years by. Not so much as a postcard. I had some silver dollars, but I lost one of them and gave the rest to a friend. I guess what I want is a souvenir of my childhood. It's late, but don't they say better late than never? Carol Danner smiled, and the smile changed her pretty face into one that was beautiful. I think that's very sweet, she said. If you'd like to browse for 10 or 15 minutes, I'll have the card made up for you when you come back to the desk. Ben grinned a little. I guess there'll be a fee, he said. Out of towner and all. Did you have a card when you were a boy? I sure did. Ben smiled. Except for my friends, I guess that library card was the most important. Ben, would you come up here? A voice called suddenly, cutting across the library hush like a scalpel. He turned around, jumping guiltily the way people do when someone shouts in a library. He saw no one he knew. And realized a moment later that no one had looked up or shown any sign of surprise or annoyance. The old men still read their copies of the Derry News, the Boston Globe, National Geographic, Time, Newsweek, U.S. News and World Report. At the tables in the reference room, 2 high school girls still had their heads together over a stack of papers and a pile of file cards. Several browsers went on looking through the books on the shelf,